guys, welcome back to my channel. As promised, I'm sharing with you today a video where I am painting these beautiful roses twice. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, in my last video I mentioned how I follow Jared Brady's course online, and if you don't know who he is by now, definitely check him out. But for this first painting, I follow along his live session and see how he goes about the painting using these really interesting guidelines that I probably wouldn't have naturally done myself, but I could see how it really helped with getting the correct angle of the roses and really nailing the composition of how these roses came together. But yeah, everything that I do for this first painting is pretty much everything he does, and I'm trying to copy it to my best ability. I've noticed with just doing a couple of his videos like this where I follow brushstroke by brushstroke, I have learned so much, and I guess you'll see later on when I paint this myself with just a reference photo, I can see my improvement in painting roses because, as you may know, especially if you have tried it before, painting roses is a very, very hard thing to do. They're so complex, there's so many things that go into it, a lot of tricky values I have found, and also just the endless amount of petals that these roses seem to have that we kind of get lost in. So all of these things combined can make it very difficult to paint. More specifically, my style leans towards the looser side, so I feel like it's very important for me to prioritize the brushstrokes that are very important to help the painting read as it should. I definitely feel like if your style is more on the realistic side, you could just take as long as you'd like to get every single petal in, but because that's not what I'm trying to go for, I definitely find it difficult to pick and choose what I should or should not paint. But with following his videos, I have really understood how to simplify things and how to see these roses as a whole instead of for all the little details that I actually see. In the beginning, Jared chose a specific color to kind of block in the whole rose, each individually of course, and I can see how adding layers on top of that can really make the difference. Following his videos and really seeing how he moves the brush around has really made me feel at ease. It has helped me to not feel so much tension when I'm trying to do the same brush strokes, and feeling a little bit more free and more adventurous when I'm painting. So I tried to gather up those same feelings and apply it when I was painting on my own and trying to keep up that confidence, because you can really see the artist through their brush strokes. to the second portion of this video where I paint these wonderful flowers once again. There will be a lot more time lapse on this side of the video just because I don't want to bore you from seeing the same painting done again, but I do approach this in a very different way, and I found that to be really interesting. My approach to the second painting was to allow myself to paint and move my brush the way that I think I would naturally do it, but to remember the things that he said, and I can already see just by the beginning how different everything looks. Instead of using the guidelines, which I do think was really helpful, I, for whatever reason, just decided to block in the sketch of the shapes of the roses in its place where I think it belonged. I will mention though that in his tutorial he was obviously painting from life, so the reference photo that I have of the flowers, I'm sure, are very different in color. I think he even mentioned it in the video at some point that some of the warm tones are not as vibrant in the photographs, and as well as the composition of the photo was probably not exactly the way that he was seeing it. So you can see in my painting here, I kind of have a more zoomed in version, which I do end up liking, but I think in the end when I compare the two paintings, I really like the way he painted the roses a bit more further back, because then it creates more depth and kind of this really moody atmosphere. But besides with those differences, just because I'm using a reference photo, I really enjoyed this session. I did a pretty good job not looking over to the painting that was to my left. I really immersed myself into this painting session and just went from reference photo to painting back and forth, and that was pretty surprising because I thought I was going to judge myself too much and compare my painting to the painting that's on the left, but I didn't really do that so much until the very end. So I'm glad I was able to keep this process purely just however it came out to myself, and yeah, I'm really happy with the results. These are definitely the best roses I have painted to date, I think. So these videos are definitely helping me, and I think that following a tutorial by someone that you really like could really help you to learn how to do certain things. Maybe you have some gaps in your painting process that you're not quite sure why you're not getting the results you want. So following someone that you really like can maybe give you the answers without you even realizing. And I think that's what I noticed here. I'm really happy that I got to see my own style come to life in this second painting, because I definitely feel that we have a different style, and I was really glad that I was able to apply that to this painting session. The mood of these paintings is everything that I want in all my work. It's just great, and I'm really happy that I did this practice. I would highly suggest you guys doing something very similar to this, and then really taking the time to analyze your work and then analyzing how you came up with the other painting. I really hope that this was helpful, and if you do try something out like that, let me know how it goes for you. And I'm also curious which one of these paintings you like most. I truly can't decide. I feel that I like one or the other for different reasons, but yeah. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you here very soon.